Hi, and welcome to Optimum TV. I'm Stephen Adams, and today I'm joined by Ian Crosbie, CEO of Sequana Medical, which is based in Belgium. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Stephen.
So, Sequana's just had its alfapump approved by the FDA. Congratulations. Please tell me what the alfapump is and what indication it treats.
Thank you. We're thrilled at the company today. The alfapump is approved in the US for the treatment of recurrent or refractory liver ascites. This is a terrible complication of liver cirrhosis, where fluid leaks out of the liver and builds up in the peritoneal cavity, the bag inside your abdomen that contains many of your organs. This fluid leaks maybe a litre a day, builds up, causing terrible swelling of the abdomen. And you can imagine the impact on the patients when it's hard to eat, breathe, sleep, move around, you fall over, vomiting, constipated. What we have is a high-tech implantable pump. Just imagine in your house, if you have a flood, you would pump the water down the drain. We do exactly the same. With our high-tech implantable pump, the alfapump, we pump the fluid into the bladder where the patient simply urinates it away, so there's no build-up of the fluid within the body.
So why is recurrent and refractory ascites such a problem? Has it become a bigger problem? Tell me about it.
This is not a new disease. This disease has been around for thousands of years. And in fact, the treatment hasn't really changed since the ancient Egyptians. Their treatment, paracentesis, involved the buildup of fluid within the body. You collect maybe 5 to 7 litres, then you take the patient to hospital and drain them over the course of a day. As you can imagine, it's a painful, burdensome and risky procedure. And it's really been a disease that's been ignored for far too long. And I think part of that is because historically, this has been a disease that is caused by hepatitis and has been caused by alcohol. So there's been no drive to come up with a modern treatment solution. However, as now the disease is being driven by obesity as well as alcohol, it's changing the profile, the social profile of this disease. And that's why there's a need for a 21st century solution. That's why we developed the alfapump. We shouldn't be relying on a treatment which is 2,000 years old when we can come up with a better high-tech solution which gives patients back the life which they desperately need.
So the existing treatment, Ian, is it literally sort of sticking a big needle into the belly and extracting liquid? Is that basically what goes on?
That's exactly it. But look, the pain, as you can imagine, that's a painful and burdensome and risky procedure when you stick this big needle into the body. But it's not only that one day in hospital, it's the period leading up to the procedure as well. As you accumulate the fluid, you get a litre, then a 2 litre, building up to 5 litres. Just imagine carrying 5 bottles of everything around inside your belly, trying to function. You can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't breathe, you can't do the things you want to do. So it's not only the impact on the one day of the procedure, but also the third to half of the life that these patients lose through the burden of this disease.
So I'm guessing that you believe that alfapump will make a major positive difference to patients' lives?
We've seen this already. We through our clinical study, we've seen the impact by talking to patients, by talking to doctors. We've seen the impact it has. These patients can go back to doing the things that they want to do. That might be going back to work. We've had patients go back to be taxi drivers, to be construction workers, to be office workers. Others, they just want to do the simple things in life. They want to go into the garden. They want to cook. They want to go and see their grandchildren. They want to travel. This is not a disease that builds up linearly. It's not a disease that you build up 200 mils a day. It might build slowly. It might build fast. You might have planned to go to the hospital in 3 weeks' time to get drained, but all of a sudden, because of the Chinese food you had last night, the fluid builds up quicker and you have to be drained now. Patients can't plan to go to their grandchildren's wedding or can't plan that holiday in Europe because they're always tied to when am I going to get drained? What if I need to get drained early? Where am I going to go? So now, by avoiding this fluid buildup entirely, this gives patients the freedom to go back and do the simple things they want in life, the things we take for granted. But when patients have this terrible condition, they want to go back and have as much freedom for their remaining time.
Freedom sounds like the key word here. Now, let's turn back to the FDA approval. Obviously, it's great news. It's great news because it opens up the US market to Sequana for this device. Tell me about the size of that market opportunity.
We estimate that there are 70,000 patients in the United States today who are drained at least 3 times a year due to their liver cirrhosis. That's a market of about $2 billion for the alpha pump. Out of that market, our priority market is the quarter of patients who get drained every month. As you can imagine, these are the patients with the highest clinical burden, these are the patients with the highest cost, and these are the patients that use up so much more of the hospital resources. So that's where we're going to focus initially. After we built up and penetrated that $500 million market, we'll move on to those patients who are drained every other month. This is about another 25% of the market, so a further $500 million market. And as we build further clinical experience, as we build up bigger profile, then we'll just continue to expand that market. This market is growing at about 9% a year as a result of the growth in obesity, as a result of the growth in alcoholic liver disease. So it's a very exciting market for us, and we don't see an entrenched competitor in this market. As I said, the standard of care is needles and bits of plastic here. So no one is out there defending that market. We are out there working alongside the physicians and the patients, delivering a 21st century solution that we believe they so desperately need.
Okay, fantastic. And finally, Ian, obviously getting FDA approval is huge achievement, but it's only one hurdle. You've obviously got to commercialize the product as well. How are you going to do that? What are your next steps?
So we are going to commercialize this product ourselves. We're going to set up a small specialty sales force. The good news is we can focus simply on the US liver transplant centers. There's only 90 of them that do 95% of liver transplants. The guidelines for treatment say that when you get this ascites, you have to be evaluated for a liver transplant. It's the only curative option. So you get sent to one of these 90 transplant centers. Maybe you'll be lucky one and be put on the transplant list, where you may be waiting a year or so for a transplant and you need to be supported. Maybe you're one of the unlucky majority. Most patients don't get on the transplant list and they get told there's no other treatment option for them. So in that case, you can have the alpha pump to maintain your life and avoid the need for repeated drainage. So whichever way you go, the doctors now have a treatment option for these patients. So we're working with the most expert centers. We're working with the most expert group of hepatologists here. So this forms a very neat, very economic and very manageable approach for a small company such as Sequana, but we believe we can penetrate this market very effectively through these liver transplant centers. We're planning to start our commercialization in the second half of next year. So as you say, we've got an awful lot to do to get there. We're excited because of the noise we're hearing back from doctors. Doctors are asking us, when can we get hold of the alpha pump? We have patients who want to be treated today. So that's what drives us every day.
Super. Ian Crosbie, CEO of Sequana Medical. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Stephen.
Bye-bye.
Are you watching Optimum TV? In our bite-sized episodes, we talk to European life science leaders about the hottest trends, innovations and capital market developments in the sector. To subscribe, visit @OptimumComms on YouTube. You can also watch all available episodes on our website, optimumcomms.com.